huge week. On Wednesday, Liverpool will play Aston Villa away at Villa Park. I mean, in simple terms, they have to do better, don't they, realistically, than they did in this one?
Yeah, it's going to have to be a better performance, no doubts about that, because you're going away from home as well, and you probably get away with less. And Villa are very, very strong, aren't they? They're going to make it a physical game, so they're going to ask a lot of Liverpool. I think one major upside for these next two that is worth mentioning is that, quite unlike the Wolves game where they had a free week in the build-up and Liverpool were playing a midweek game, Villa have played at the weekend, playing into midweek, and the same will be true of Man City, playing in midweek, then into the weekend. So that's a real leveler, and I think that's massively helpful for Liverpool. Both sides have put a lot in, so that will make it easier. And on Villa as well, worth mentioning, the injuries are just piling up for them at the moment. I mean, Pau Torres likely to miss this one. I believe Kamara went off at the weekend. You'd be surprised if he was available for midweek off the back of that. They've got quite a few others missing as well. So, again, that makes Liverpool's task a little bit easier. But in that atmosphere, under the lights at Villa Park, it's always massively tricky. So it is going to be a difficult one. But I'm of the mindset that Liverpool have not played poorly very often at all this season. And I just think, there's been a couple of back-to-back performances there were a bit off in slightly different ways. Everton really poor in attack, Wolves just poor in giving up chances in the second half. But I just think coming into a big game like this, I just can't see them not, being anything but at the best and just ripping into this. And if they can get a win, it would be absolutely massive. So I'm hoping and hopeful that we will see the best version of Liverpool.
Yeah, Villa are just a different beast when Kamara plays. So not wishing ill on any player, but if he's out, we do see that as a positive. And in terms of us that we know, it seems pretty certain that Cody Gakpo won't be back. But Curtis Jones, obviously talking about midfield freshness, he is back. That suspension's finished for him now. People are naturally looking to this, David. Do you think there will be any, if much, rotation for this game at all?
It's a tough one, really, because how, if you're going to bring Jones in, who do you bring him in for? Well, I suppose it would possibly be Szoboszlai. I just don't think the manager's going to ever let McAllister come off the pitch because he's far too important to what Liverpool want to do. So, maybe there's an option there. Bring Jones in for Szoboszlai. Gives you a little bit more of the control than the running, and maybe that will be helpful. And maybe he's a candidate for one there. And in terms of other rotation, maybe look at left back. I thought it was a poor performance we've seen from Andy Robertson on the back of playing a few games in succession. I just don't think he's in the position to do that anymore. So, I wouldn't be against seeing change at left back. But other than that, with Gakpo out, I think the team kind of almost picks itself, really, doesn't it? So, it's you wouldn't mind a little bit more rotation in this period, but I also think the manager's going to want to get his best players on the pitch as frequently as possible in this run.
Yeah, fingers crossed to say that they're all available. And Arne Slot's press conference is tomorrow, so we'll get an update on any injuries and returnees. And I suppose with this one, it's easy to say, we do say a lot of weeks, this is a massive game. But for the context of the league, this is Liverpool's chance to actually go a game ahead of Arsenal for the first time in a long time, and at the same time open up a 10-point lead. I mean, if the lead does get to 10 points, touch wood, that does feel a big shift, doesn't it, if Liverpool win this game on Wednesday?
Yeah, there's just the mental aspect of being the game behind versus being a game in front. I just think it would absolutely kill Arsenal to be 10 points behind, or even with that game in hand, I just don't think it will be helpful to them. They've already got so much going against them in terms of the injuries and what they've got left squad wise. I just think if you can get 10 points ahead, and you're going to have that game advantage for a few weeks, aren't you? Actually, I just think it's going to really, really impact on Arsenal. So it would be nice for that game in hand to be, for Liverpool to get the 3 points on board if they can in that game that they're going ahead. Which just makes this feel even bigger. And I also think, for confidence as well, going into the City game to win a big away game like Villa before it would be massive. So, just feels like there's an awful lot riding on this. But that's the nature of being in a title race. And I think people need to be a little bit more accepting of that as well, that they're going to be ups and downs. It's going to be difficult. They're not all fun games to watch either. And it's going to be a battle at times, but you'd rather be in Liverpool's position than anybody else. And I still make them, regardless of what happens this week, even if you lose the next two, I still feel like the massive favourites to go on and lift the title, to be honest. So I think people should be looking forward to these ones.